Some roses look good, but they don't smell good. And other roses, like this one here, actually looks good and smells divine. It's a heritage rose. Oh, honestly. Now that's one perfume that all women should wear. Okay, maybe that sounds a bit chauvinistic, but as a man, a woman wearing that, you just want to eat it all up. Anyway, bros, you've got to stop to smell the roses, literally. That's what I'm doing right now. Oh, it's like eating. So I've just watched the rugby. I'm not going to get depressed about it. The ball was wet. I'm not making excuses. The ball was wet. It was a game where I didn't really enjoy it. I'll tell you something funny. My mother had one of those things you cycle with my stepmother Sue, and I said, can I borrow that? She'd already got 20k before the game started. I clocked up another 45k watching the game. These little guys have just come over to me, asked me for some food. Mum's got a sore leg because something attacked her. Okay, Mum, can you walk on that leg? Yeah, she's been attacked by either a hawk or a pukeko, trying to get her off her babies, and she sacrificed the leg for her babies, and the babies are still here. Well done. Oh, super duck. You shouldn't attack me, okay? Here you go. I went to my dad's house to watch the rugby with my dad, the stepmum, and Sally, that's an ex-girlfriend, and her husband Peter. Last night we got home about 11 o'clock. These guys are exhausted, actually look pretty good. This old boy here, he caught his own pig. You can see the blood on him still from the pig, that's not his blood. And killed it down the gully. It was about probably a 40 pound pig. And your mate, they haven't had a walk yet. My vegetable garden is completely bird proof. There's not a bird in it this morning. Happy days. I planted black passion fruit. I'm not sure if the sparrows are doing that or the slugs, but I planted new stuff. And there's a bit of a rip here, but so far it looks pretty good. So I'm going to say it was the birds because they couldn't get in after I planted that. Kept my tomatoes under plastic because we still could get a frost now. The dwarf beans are producing, not a lot. Some little ones in there popping up. This is my little mountain of hope. Hope that this year that I get a good crop, because last year I didn't. Courgettes and pumpkins. I'll put this over here too, just in case we get a frost. Artichokes, prickly little bastards. I've only started to plant a fraction here of what I actually want to plant. If somebody had told me 5 years ago, Clay, you're going to have a big vegetable garden and that's predominantly what you're going to eat, I would have laughed them. So I would have said, don't be ridiculous. Go figure. Good morning, beans. I love you. Well, you're growing well. I really love you. Oh yeah, love you guys too. But I think I've loved you a bit too much. You're getting too big, mate. We're going to have to cut you down. Brothers and the occasional sister, stop to smell the bloody roses, eh? Literally, or just in life. Just stop whatever you're doing if you're going 100 mile an hour and take that break, because life is going to be over one day, and when life is over, that's one rose I did sniff when I wanted to. And we can get caught up in doing so many things and not actually seeing the beauty around us and enjoying it. And joy over pleasure every time. And I bought these the other day. Look at these. Aren't they beautiful? Because they spark my joy. Don't even know what plant it is. It says it's a Federation Daily? Federation Daily Starlight Red. There we go. Federation Daily. Oh, okay. You can't eat it, but it is food in another sense. Food for the soul. Some of the things that I do have in here, which I can't grow myself yet, and probably never will like that. I just cannot grow broccoli like that. Can you guys? That's a Telegraph cucumber, which I've actually grown, but will it be as good as that? Probably not. Grapefruit, because I don't have a grapefruit tree. Bananas, because we just don't have them here that grow like that in New Zealand. Strawberries, I've got my own strawberries now, but I've bought some to compensate. Soon I'll have these. I've got them in the ground, but not ready yet. Grapes, really good for you, full of polyphenols and other good stuff. And the good old kiwi fruit, high in vitamin C. 3 times the amount of vitamin C as a lemon. I make my own bread, but when I'm really busy, as I have been lately, I'll buy only wholemeal bread that is a sourdough. Look at the little pig up there. Nothing goes to waste when we do a kill on the hill. It's a deer I shot last month, and this goes in there in the freezer. The reason I freeze the bread is when you freeze it, then it brings it down low in the glycemic index, and it releases the starches and the sugars into your blood system. It doesn't spike your insulin so much, But if you toast it, as well as freezing it, it even lowers it better. And that's what you want. We don't want to spike insulin. That basically illustrates how my hunting's going right now and my fishing. The main freezer's completely empty. Anyway, I only hunt and fish for everybody else, pretty much. And that's a joy to me to give food away. Yes, it's actually a cabbage out of my garden, and that's how it came out. Not very flash. Hopefully next year they're bigger. Cabbages are actually surprisingly got a lot of goodness. And if you ferment your cabbage and make it into sauerkraut, then it has even more goodness. It gives you the probiotic, which is really good for your microbiome in your gut. One of the things that people on a ketogenic diet try to avoid is root vegetables, like these. Radishes, or carrot. But not all people on a ketogenic diet do that. Just some. And I've met some that are completely no, it's good. The reality is that a carrot in its natural form is really, really good. And the reason a lot of keto bunnies won't eat them is because of the sugar. But the thing is, it's only when you cook the carrot that you change the whole structure of it. And then if you boil it, then it becomes high in the glycemic index. Eat it raw, it's not. And it naturally releases those sugars into your bloodstream much slower, and it's got the fibre. Yummy. It is sweet. See, the thing is, there's carbohydrates and there's carbohydrates. There's a lot of carbohydrates in this, but they're complex carbohydrates, so they release into your bloodstream slowly, and you also get the fibre, which helps you create that really healthy microbiome in your gut. You eat pasta or rice or white bread, then you've got that really refined carbohydrate, and that's when you're under trouble. Broccoli in there. I think that's, we can do better than that. Get a fresh one. There's a real joy in growing your own veggies and eating them, but right now, about 30 to 40% is all I'm eating, and I want to get to around 80 to 90. And the other things I'll always buy is flaxseed, chia seed, things I can't possibly grow or make myself, coffee beans. But for the best part, most of what I'm getting ideally is going to come out of my garden. And I wouldn't suggest or recommend that you do your kale in the glass house like I have done. Incidentally, voted New Zealand's most hated food, and I get that. Fuck, I get that. No, kale is like not much fun at all, is it? But it's really high in nitrogen, and if you have heart disease, you want to eat foods that are high in nitrogen, because as you chew it, it becomes a nitrite, and the endothelial then creates nitric oxide, which gives you the vasodilation that's going to save your life and make you a machine. I'm going hunting this afternoon again, and I'll clock up some hardy Ks. Yesterday I clocked up some hardy Ks, and this is what you want if you're going to be doing the hard yards. Of course you want to have all the other good stuff too, but this is going to get that blood going and bringing the all the good stuff to your muscles, all the nutrients, the macronutrients, the micronutrients, and pumping up. Right, silver beet. Oh, let's take this sucker out right down here. And you know what? I never knew it, but actually there's as much goodness in the stalk as there is in the green bit. And I grow the beets actually for the leaves more than the actual beetroot itself, because that's really healthy shit. And my Russian kale is just about ready to get pulled out and replaced, I think. We're getting a bit thin on it, and it's going to start seeding. Well, it's actually already started to seed, but we're still getting some leaves off it. I didn't get to bed till late last night, because I didn't get home till 11, then I just let the dogs out. I think it was 11 o'clock when I pulled up the driveway. And then I did their feeding and all the stuff I do. Got to bed about midnight, and I set the clock for 6 because I wanted to go and see my dad this morning. Got up, went for a walk with the dogs, ran and made sure they're okay after their hunt. It was lovely going over to my dad's house and seeing him and my stepmum, parking up and enjoying the rugby. And the time now is, I don't know, close to 11 o'clock. I still haven't eaten, so this is going to be a feed I'm going to really enjoy. Kale and all the aphids with it. There's my protein. Russian kale on top of the curly kale. Beets on top of that. Silver beet, a great source of iron, and of course plenty of nitrogen for that vasodilation. That vasodilation comes around from those sorts of green leafy plants. Turmeric, proven to get inflammation down. This is my garlic. It's not like the stuff you buy in the shops, but it's bloody good. So I've crushed that, and you just let it sit for a while. It brings out the allicin in it, which is really good for dealing with cardiovascular disease and such. Tomatoes high in lycopene, and by steaming them we destroy the lectins. And of course plants try to protect themselves because they don't have teeth to bite and they can't run away from you, so they have about 6 different little nasties that they try to throw at you. Combat that simply by steaming them. And also steaming them is going to make sure that all the nutrients don't get lost too much. You're going to lose some. Better to eat raw if you can. But then we also want to destroy those lectins, any arsenic that's... now I don't know if steaming actually does get rid of arsenic, so that one probably doesn't count, but definitely helps break down the lectins, which otherwise can really upset your stomach. And also oxalates and a lot of other anti-nutrients. Steaming's your way to go. It's sort of like a fine line between destroying the nutritional value but also destroying the nasties that can upset your guts. Most people, if they eat this many vegetables like I'm eating greens, they'll say, oh, I'm going to be farting and I'm going to be upset my stomach. And yes, you will be for about 3 months until the microbiome in your gut learns to deal with these suckers. Mushrooms, really, really good for keeping cancer down. And there's really good studies on turkey tail worth looking at. Fantastic way for dealing with cancer. So if you're like me and you've got cancer in remission, eat your turkey tail every day. And if you can't get the actual mushrooms itself, then you can buy it in a little pill, one of these pills a day. But ideally you're having mushrooms themselves. And there's really good science on mushrooms for cancer, particularly for women and breast cancer. Just amazing. Just 1 mushroom a day, if you're a woman, is going to keep your chances down with breast cancer. I think it's around 65%. But do the research yourself. Look at Dr. Joel Thurman. He's got some really good stuff on that. In fact, there's heaps and heaps of stuff in PubMed or the Lancet or the British medical journals on mushrooms. A lot of studies been done, and you don't need to eat much, just 1 a day, and it can make a big difference. I also harvest my own mushrooms. I harvest from the wild. This is during winter time, and then I dry them. And here we've got the woodier mushroom. So I've got a whole lot down here in this jar, and I use those as well. Really good, so it helps to thin the blood a little bit, keep the viscosity a bit finer, which you want to have, without taking disprins or anticoagulants. It's a natural blood thinner. And if you are taking those, then make sure if you're on a blood thinner that you go off that. But talk to your doctor first, of course. Don't trust me, because I'm just winging it as I go along. So far, the winging, it's really paying off. These guys here, I'm growing them myself, but this year I've abstained from picking them because mine are only 2 years old and I want to have really good crowns. So I bought these down at the local fruit and veg shop, Jared's Fruit and Veg Shop in Marpur, and mate, rock on down there for the best deal on vegetables. He's cheaper than anybody else, and it's all fresh, all stuff grown within about 2 or 3 kilometres from the shop. Just going to lightly steam those. Asparagus to make your pea interesting. Yes, asparagus. There's no such thing as asparagus. But hey, who doesn't like asparagus? And I used to love having a roll of bread with butter. Steamed, very nice. Right, what else is going into my tucker? Well, I've got all sorts of things I could put in here, but I'm going to leave the ginger at this time. We're going to go down here and get some of the chilli, the hot stuff. Now, I'm not sure how hot this one here is. It's one of Troy Dando's chilies. It's frozen, and that's the thing you can do with your chilies. So if you're growing them at this time of the year, as you probably are if you're growing chilies like me, you can actually freeze them. And this guy's been freezed since last year's chili. It's still perfectly fine. That's going to make it very interesting. Even smells hot. Ooh. Natto beans. The reason I eat them is because of natto canes, which you can buy for 170 bucks, like this here. This is my backup. I have natto canes every day. Studies that aren't 100% conclusive show that it draws the calcium out of the arteries and puts it into the bones. Now, I'd like to better have a science paper I could put down to share with you guys, but there's not. But what I can tell you is that people that eat this shit every day have a very low rate of heart disease. It's got the stringy long bits to it. It's a very stringy sort of a, I guess it's the, what is it they call it that's grown? I was going to say bacteria, but it's really a culture. Look how sticky it is. Oh, I'm getting hungry. And of course, beans are full of fibre that you need, and most of all for me, protein. I have a tablespoon every day of flaxseed, but also a tablespoon of chia seed. Omega-3. If you're eating flaxseed and chia seed, particularly the flaxseed, mainly the flaxseed for your EPA and DHA, your omega-3, grind it in a coffee grinder. Otherwise it comes out in your poop and it's not going to be really absorbed. This is where you get that essential fatty acids. There's 8 essential fatty acids that we need, And that one there is a real important one. So if you have that every day, man, it's going to make you feel so good. And also it's going to help the old brain work, because you need that fat for the brain. That's the good fat. We need good fats. And there's a story about these guys that lived on just rabbit and they died. So they had the protein, but there's not enough fat in a rabbit. Of course, there's really good fats in fish and animal protein, and also in meat. Trouble is that if you have a disease process like heart disease, then that animal fat and protein, particularly the protein, breaks down your endothelial, stops it from working. And by the time you get to 50 years of age, you've only got half of it already. You pile on top of that, being a large meat eater, as I used to be, and boom, heart disease. Sunflower seeds in the pan, pumpkin seeds. Man, this will put some wood in your pencil, guaranteed. While that's steaming, I'm going to drop my garlic in there. Bit like popcorn. Oh, it smells good, real nutty flavour. I just roast it a little bit. I've done 2 dates, cut up, and raw onion. It's still popping in the pan, straight in. Dates on top, raw onion. I have 1.5 walnuts every day, again for that DPA and DHA, omega-3. Did I say that right? I've got it here in a bottle. DHA and EPA. Yes, you can buy it in a bottle too. I don't use it in a bottle unless I can't get those foods, because it's so important to have those fatty acids, but I'd rather get it out of nuts. So I have 1.5 walnuts every day, and it's good for the brain, but you've also got to watch your fats if you're dealing with heart disease, so you want to keep it to a minimum, but also enough to get the goodness. It's a fine line, isn't it? So that's just about everything in my tucker. Some raw cherry tomatoes. I've already got some, but I'm adding a bit more nutritional yeast. Now, you don't want more than a tablespoon a day because of the uric acid in it, but very good for your B12. It looks like a lemon, it's actually a lime. Okay, brothers, well, it's not really bacon and eggs, is it? But how is it, honestly? Give you an honest answer to that there. When people say honest, you think, yeah, he's going to bullshit, but I'll give you an honest answer. Out of 10 for taste, a solid 4.5 for making me feel good and giving me that nice fulfilling feeling, you know, like satiated just in that bite. Solid 2. If you want to impress guests, would I recommend it on 1 to 10? I'd say again a solid 2. This is arse food because it makes you fart, even if your body has become adapted to it. Health-wise, it's a 10 out of 10. That's a 10 out of 10. And I like being in this life, I enjoy this life, and I've got things to do and places to go. And this is the reason I eat this every day. Normally, I'd have breakfast, I'd have rolled oats with some chia seeds, some flaxseed, and some berries, and some fruits. And I might have a little bit of vegetables on the side. But I missed breakfast today because of the rugby. Still don't want to talk about that. The All Blacks and South Africans. So I didn't have any of that. I just had a coffee this morning, black coffee. And this is breaking my fast today at about nearly midday by now. So first meal of the day. And that will be enough to power me up to go hunting later this evening, hopefully. Hopefully. Brothers, I hope you've enjoyed this off-the-cuff video. Not edited, just snap vlog again. Pause, record, pause. Enjoy your day. Stay blessed. Check on a brother, check on yourself, and if you do have heart disease, if you've had a stroke or you've got a stent or any of those things, then this is the diet that's going to not only halt the disease process, but even reverse it, and that's science. And my reference to that will be Dr. Carmel B. Esselstyn, would be a good start. He's got a lot of papers out that are published. The science is out on that one there, and we're always looking for those long-term studies. Have a great day, and if I get a chance at the end of the day, I'll do another short after pig hunting tonight, all going to plan. We'll see how the dogs are doing, we'll see how I'm doing a bit later on, but right now it's bloody hot. The temperature has to come down. You do not want to hunt your dogs at anything over 15, 16 degrees. Dogs can die in heat of even as low as 10 degrees, so we want the temp to come right down. Until the next Broad Check Club video, catch ya. Go steady. Right, I'm going to turn to this. Oh, more broccoli. Walnuts. Yeah, solid 4.5.